This is Biography, celebrating 10 years on A&E. For December 2nd, 1997, Biography with Jack Perkins.
He was America's greatest salesman. He built America's greatest fortune. Sam Walton was a cheerleader, a visionary, a tough competitor who crushed many rivals. Welcome again to Attention Shoppers Week on Biography, our holiday look at some of the nation's legendary retailers. Tonight, the Arkansas country boy who made himself a billionaire by slashing prices, then slashing them some more. He built a retail empire without ever letting go of the down-home ways. Drove a pickup truck, went quail hunting, dropped in at potluck dinners. To neighbors in Bentonville, Arkansas, he was Mr. Sam, who just happened to be the richest man in America.
He could have been an entertainer.
If a customer comes within 10 feet of me,
He could have owned a circus and probably been just as successful.
so help me Sam. So help me Sam. All right.
Sam Walton was America's bargain basement billionaire. The secret to his success was deceptively simple. He sold things cheaper, much cheaper.
I think I learned a great deal in knowing Sam Walton. He changed the economy of a nation. He changed the way we shopped.
From his first day in business, Sam Walton poured every ounce of his energy into building his discount empire.
He never thought about anything except building Wal-Mart, growing Wal-Mart.
And grow Wal-Mart he did. It outgrew every other retail chain and earned him the largest fortune in America.
I can't hear you. Number one. I can't hear you.
The Oklahoma Territory of the late 1800s was a rugged, still untamed land about to undergo a rapid change. Thousands of settlers were moving west to escape the ravages left by the Civil War. And among them was Sam Walton's great uncle, J.W. Walton. Walton staked his claim for a homestead in the tall grasslands of the Osage Plains. Over the years, he watched as less fortunate settlers failed, returned east, or perished in the harsh prairie winters. And in this situation, J.W. saw an opportunity for someone with a little cash and a lot of grit. He opened a land agent office which made loans and repossessed failed farms on behalf of the big banks in Chicago. The business prospered through the early part of this century, and in 1917, J.W.'s nephew, Thomas, joined the agency. It would be Thomas's grim task to evict farmers who couldn't make their payments. The same year he joined the agency, Thomas married an energetic 18-year-old named Nancy Lee Lawrence. Their first child, Samuel Moore Walton, was born on March 29, 1918. In this hard-luck economy, sons were valued for the work they could do on the farm, so the parents were doubly pleased when 3 years later, James Lawrence, later called Bud, was born. The two boys were close from the start. Bud looked up to his older brother, who he said could excel at anything he set his mind to. Sam Walton was an active and inquisitive child from the start. At age 3, he wandered out of his home and ended up at the nearby schoolhouse. He sat listening to the teacher for hours before his frantic mother found him. After the First World War, the Plains states met with more hard times. Farm prices plummeted in Oklahoma, and Sam's father decided to take his family to Missouri to look for greener pastures. But things only got worse. First, the country was hit by the Great Depression. Then, in 1933, when Sam was 15, the Dust Bowl struck, turning farm after farm into barren wasteland.
I'm a Dust Bowl refugee, just a Dust Bowl refugee. From
Sam's father, like his uncle before him, repossessed the failed farms for the banks.
He grew up in the Dust Bowl in the 30s, and his father's job for a time was to go around and evict farmers from their Dust Bowl farms, and Sam went with him and saw a lot of that. I think he saw a lot of people go under the line of poverty. He saw a lot of people sink under, and I think somewhere along the way he made up his mind, this old boy is not going to be poor.
He saw his father survive not by making a lot of money on one deal, but by turning a small profit on each transaction. It was a principle Sam Walton would use to undercut his retail competitors and build a fortune. The family's moves from town to town in search of work meant Sam and Bud attended several grammar schools, and Sam developed an easy, outgoing personality from making new friends. The Waltons were better off than most of their neighbors. Still, Sam and Bud were expected to work hard and to appreciate the value of a dollar. Sam contributed to the family's funds by selling milk from their cow after football practice. Sam's father worked hard and traveled a lot, and the financial difficulties of the day put pressure on the Waltons' marriage. In fact, Sam would later describe his parents as two of the most quarrelsome people who ever lived together.
They were divorced when I met him. They, I guess, quarreled a great deal. That's what he told me, and that was a part of our agreement when we got married, was that we were not going to do that.
The often tense atmosphere at home motivated Sam to find activities outside of the house. He joined the Boy Scouts and learned skills that would make him a local hero. One day at a picnic, a classmate fell in the river. Without hesitating, Sam jumped in and pulled him to shore. A few weeks later, he was honored for his bravery and was promoted to Eagle Scout, the youngest in his town.
He lived all of the things that are in the Scout Oath. I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to keep myself mentally awake and morally straight. And that personifies his life.
Handsome and gregarious, Sam was popular at Hickman High School. He was vice president of the junior class, student council president senior year. He also played almost every sport. Even then, Sam was fiercely competitive. He liked to boast that as a quarterback, he never lost a game. His address to his graduating class was titled Leadership.
He had the classic leadership resume his whole life, and then as a young adult, he clearly made up his mind that he wasn't going to work for anybody.
In the fall of 1936, Sam entered the University of Missouri as an economics major. Sam took a paper route and promptly turned it into an enterprise. His fraternity brothers nicknamed him Hustler Walton.
I worked my way through college with carrying papers. It was a good way to make money, and I could hire substitutes. I hired a substitute when I needed one, and that let me do other things that I wanted to do.
As busy as he was, Sam had little time for a social life, but one classmate recalled that Sam did all right with the girls. After graduation, in the spring of 1940, Sam went to work full-time. He began his career in retailing as a trainee at a J.C. Penney store in Des Moines, Iowa. His pay was $75 a month. Sam also now began his lifelong study of the retail business. He was helped along by J.C. Penney himself. On a visit to the store, Mr. Penney showed Sam how to tie a package with the smallest amount of ribbon and still have it look nice. Sam Walton was enthusiastic about his job, but he was never one of Penney's most thorough employees. He hated to make customers wait while he fussed with paperwork, so his books were a mess. His boss even threatened to fire him, saying that he was not cut out for retail work. Sam was saved by his ability as a salesman and added about $25 a month in commissions to his beginner's salary. By 1942, the U.S. had joined the Second World War, and Sam Walton, an ROTC graduate, was eager to get into the action. After only 18 months at Penney's, he quit to join the Army. But in spite of all his athleticism, he didn't pass the physical because of a minor heart irregularity. Instead, Sam was put on the non-combat reserve list, and later said he was envious of his brother Bud, who went off to the Pacific as a bomber pilot. While waiting to be called for duty, Sam landed a job at a DuPont gunpowder factory near Tulsa. He rented a room in the nearby town of Claremore. One night in April of 1942, while bowling in Claremore, Sam met his future wife, Helen Robson. Helen, the college-educated daughter of a successful businessman, was intrigued with the brash young Walton.
It was very exciting. What happened was I was with a date, and we were going bowling. I came back to my seat, and my date had gone up to bowl. And there was this fella with his right, I'll never forget it, right foot hung over the seat next to me. And he said, "Haven't I seen you someplace before?" which I don't know when I've ever had anybody say that to me.
Sam called Helen a few weeks later, and they had a whirlwind romance. She was active and outdoorsy, and Sam liked that about her. When Sam was called into active duty in July, he proposed to Helen. She accepted, and Sam left right away for training on the West Coast. The couple were married on Valentine's Day, 1943. The newlyweds headed for Utah, where Sam was stationed as a captain in the Army Intelligence Corps. They had their first child, Samuel Robson, or Rob, on October 28, 1944. Less than a year later, the war ended. Returning GIs were reunited with their brides and starting families. The country heaved a sigh of relief, and Sam Walton shared the hopes of the legions of young Americans looking toward a bright future. You're watching Sam Walton on Biography's Attention Shoppers Week. 45 young GIs across the country were eager to leave the war years behind. They set out with their families to claim their piece of the American dream. Sam Walton was one of those young parents. With a wife and baby in tow, he had to come up with a plan for the future. He had saved a little nest egg, and his short stint in retail had shown him that that was a field with potential. He decided that he was now ready to run his own store. So in 1945, with a $20,000 loan from his father-in-law and $5,000 of his own, Sam bought a small 5 and dime in a chain of Ben Franklin stores across the South and Midwest. The store Sam bought in the small cotton and railroad town of Newport, Arkansas, was losing money badly, but that didn't bother Sam. He was confident that he could turn it around. From the beginning, Sam balked at the Ben Franklin policy that required him to purchase most of his stock from company outlets. Sam knew he could get merchandise cheaper elsewhere. So he found a clause in his agreement that allowed him to purchase a sizable percentage of goods from other sources. Sam began to make midnight runs to buy cheaper supplies, and he would then price them well below what other merchants charged.
He did it at night. That was the best time to do it, too. He wanted to get back in time to get it in the store, marked and in the store, so that he could beat the Sterling stores across the street.
They just shipped us an order of ladies' 39-cent retail panties. Sam had seen what a good buy they were, and Sunday morning he got in his car and drove to Little Rock and went down to Cash Wholesale, down to the warehouse, the wholesale house, and bought all they had. So the next Saturday, he had a window full of 39-cent panties, and I could have done the same thing, but I just wasn't that aggressive. I think that Sam was just more aggressive, and it paid off.
Sam had no hesitation about undercutting the competition. To him, it was just good business. He even found a way to beat out his rivals with his popcorn machine.
One Saturday, I looked out there, and Sam had moved his popcorn machine outside on the sidewalk, and you could smell his popcorn coming and going for 2 or 3 blocks, and he was selling twice as much popcorn as we were, and he was out there with his shirt sleeves rolled up and perspiration dripping off of him practically while he was running that hot popcorn machine, but it just proved to me how energetic he was.
Working around the clock, he achieved his goal of turning around the Newport store, and within 3 years he repaid the loan from his father-in-law. Sam now encouraged his brother Bud to join him in Newport. Bud agreed and was hired on as the assistant manager. The two brothers had always been close, and now Sam was pleased to involve Bud in the business.
Sam always said that Bud had good ideas, and he valued his opinion. So I would say, yeah, he was very fond of his little brother, and was, I think he treated Bud very well. Not that Bud was always a perfect little angel, but I mean, growing up, I think he was a good person to be the older brother.
Bud provided an anchor to Sam's early ambitions, giving him practical advice against overextending. But neither of them foresaw the disaster that lay ahead. The owner of Sam's building, envious of Sam's success, refused to renew Sam's lease. He wanted the location for his son. Sam was devastated.
Everybody in Newport just loved Sam, and there was really a lot of resentment toward the owner of the building because he wouldn't release the building to Sam.
I think a lot of people at that point might have said, well, I've had it with this retail business. I'm going to go to work for Sears, or I'm going to be a car dealer or something. He'd say, well, what did I learn out of this? And then get on with it. I don't think there's any way he could have failed ultimately.
And that willingness to learn would be one of the cornerstones of Sam Walton's later success. Sam searched the rolling green slopes of the Ozarks for a new location, and he found it in a place called Bentonville, a tiny rural community. It hardly looked like the place which would one day call itself home to the largest retail operation in the world.
When we moved to Northwest Arkansas, the economy was not good at all. The square looked like it was a depression place. I worried about coming to this town because it was so small. It was smaller than what I'd grown up in, only 3,000. And it was hard to find a place to live. It was very difficult to find help. And I had 4 little children when we moved up here.
Like most small towns, Bentonville's daily life centered around the town square. And the store Sam bought was a 5 and dime on that square. This time, he insisted on a 99-year lease. In July of 1950, Walton's 5 and dime opened its doors, and it changed the face of the sleepy little town square. By this time, Sam and Helen had 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl. And as with many family businesses, the Walton children helped out at the store.
We all worked various times in the local store here in Bentonville, and I remember carrying lots and lots of boxes up the stairway to the stockroom upstairs.
Sam was socially successful in his new hometown as well. He was president of the Bentonville Chamber of Commerce, head of a Rotary Club, and he served a term as a city councilman. Indeed, Sam Walton was the quintessential small-town merchant. But he was about to launch a new enterprise that would one day make the small-town merchant all but obsolete. You're watching Sam Walton on Biography's Attention Shoppers Week. There was perhaps never a more outwardly tranquil time in America's history than the 1950s. The economy was flourishing, housing costs were low, and America was starting its baby boom. Across the land, people were happily settling down into post-war peacetime, and Sam Walton was eager to satisfy America's new shopping needs. He kept his ear to the ground for new ways to keep prices down and customer traffic up. Around 1950, he heard about what was then a totally new idea in retail, self-service. Instead of having sales clerks fetch the merchandise, customers could pick and choose themselves. Sam realized with fewer employees, he could charge less. He went back to Bentonville and opened the aisles, putting goods from candy to Kleenex to cosmetics within customer reach. It was a hit. In just 1 year, sales tripled at Walton's 5 and dime. Now, Sam had the money and the incentive he needed to expand. This time he chose a bigger market, the college town of Fayetteville, Arkansas, 30 miles south of Bentonville. This time he had real competition. There was even a store from the original 5 and dime, a Woolworth's, on one side of Fayetteville Square. The locals didn't expect Sam to last 60 days, but the store took off. And now Sam was on his way to becoming a chain merchant. In just over 10 years, he acquired 16 stores throughout Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. And by 1960, was one of the largest independent variety store operators in America. Sam decided he needed to get around faster than his old station wagon could take him. So in the late 1950s, he bought a plane that gave him the freedom to visit any store at any time. Sam knew nothing about planes, but he figured if he could drive a car, he could fly a plane.
He used this thing pretty much like a station wagon. He would just go out, get in it, turn the key, and leave. There never any checklist. One time we took off and the door wasn't closed yet, and he would swoop down low and say, okay, you look for the airport, and the FAA would come on and tell him to get. He wasn't allowed to be that low, and he'd just turn off the radio.
On one of his trips east to check out the competition, Sam became intrigued with another new idea called discounting, buying items directly from manufacturers and displaying them in large amounts. Sam's instinct told him that even lower prices could make him even more money.
Nothing is little in a big business. That's one of the things that make Walton, in my view, relatively similar to other great entrepreneurs in American history. He understood that a small percentage of a very large number is, in fact, a large number itself.
He approached the Ben Franklin organization and asked them to consider discounting. If they reduced their prices, they could bring in larger crowds. But at Ben Franklin, the executives couldn't see it Sam's way. All they saw was that the profit of 20 to 25% they made on items they sold retailers would be reduced to half as much.
I was there the day that Sam came to Ben Franklin management and said that all these big cities are getting these discount stores. Why can't the small rural markets get the same thing? I'll be your guinea pig. You know, I'll be happy to try it. Will you franchise me in a discount store? And they said, no, we can't do that.
Sam's wife, Helen, was apprehensive too. The new venture would mean mortgaging virtually everything they owned. But Sam was very sure of himself and what he was doing, so Helen co-signed the loan. She and Sam went in for 95% of the investment.
We had enough. We were just living very comfortably, and I didn't want to go in debt again. But that wasn't enough for Sam, and I knew that when I married him.
Now Walton was in debt up to his neck, but at least he could get on with his plan. He decided on the no-frills name of Wal-Mart, and in July 1962 he leased a store twice the size of his original store in Rogers, Arkansas, a small town with a competing Ben Franklin store. Sam Walton was about to bite the hand that fed him. He started stocking it with whatever surplus items he could get hold of, from hardware to ladies' clothes. Walton had no doubt that customers would come in for a bargain. But many in the retail industry were not so sure, and indeed competitors saw no reason to worry.
I was with a different firm, and none of us took it seriously because we thought he'd fail. Not enough population to support it. Sam took me through the store. I thought it was probably the worst looking retail store that I'd seen, and but because I liked the guy immediately, so I told him it was the worst store I'd ever seen and that he probably ought to try something different.
Fortunately for Sam, he didn't listen to that advice. His first Wal-Mart store exceeded even his own expectations. It made $1 million in sales in its first year.
I couldn't believe that people were running in there like they did after these bargains and everything, and the crowds.
All those cash registers ringing gave Sam an idea for a purchase of his own. In 1961, he and Helen bought a controlling interest in the Bank of Bentonville. It was a crafty move, enabling Sam to lend himself money. Now, Sam reluctantly decided he needed to hire a secretary. She soon found that if she was expected to keep Sam organized, she was fighting a losing battle.
One of the duties of my job was chasing down lost briefcases, which Mr. Walton unfortunately did quite often. He would leave them in taxis, he would leave them in airplanes, he would leave them in airports, And sometimes he could give you a clue where to start looking for it and when he last had it. Sometimes this entailed a good half day's work.
In 1964, he opened the second and third Wal-Marts. He steadily expanded at a rate of about 2 stores per year, and by 1969, he had 18 Wal-Marts within 300 miles of the first store. That year, he opened a Wal-Mart in the town he had effectively been run out of 18 years earlier, Newport, Arkansas. Although he claimed he didn't go there to seek revenge, the store he had lost his lease on lost its customers to Wal-Mart and soon closed its doors. Sam was up before dawn and on the road most days, pushing to grow his business. He later said he wished he had spent more time with his children during those busy days.
His idea of coming home was to have dinner and come in and sit down and read and read and read. It was difficult. I tried to make it so that the children wouldn't miss their dad.
Sam did try to make up for his frequent absence by taking the family on month-long vacations, often camping in the Ozark Mountains. One summer, they decided to head to the East Coast. Sam drove their station wagon, complete with a canoe on top, right into New York City.
We wanted to take the children to a Broadway play. We had to make a decision. Would we just go to that play in the clothes we were in? Oh my gosh, I'll never forget it. The people came in their furs, their formals, and there were these people from Arkansas.
Sam Walton may have had a thing or two to learn about fitting in on Broadway, but he was about to show the crowd on Wall Street that this country boy could teach them a thing or two about business, Arkansas style. You're watching Sam Walton on Biography's Attention Shoppers Week. His breakup gripped the nation, and the country recoiled in horror as National Guardsmen killed 4 student protesters at Kent State. Few people were paying attention to a little town in Arkansas where Sam Walton was steadily building what would one day be the country's biggest fortune. By 1970, he had opened 32 stores, and his profits were going through the roof. Also that year, he opened a new company headquarters in a rundown building a few blocks from his first dime store in Bentonville. Still carrying with him the cautious, economical ways born of a childhood in the Depression, Walton refused to spend money on any kind of creature comforts here.
He felt it was important to hold costs down. One phone worked just fine. The first phone system we had with 4 or 5 buttons on it, to him, oh, this is all unnecessary.
Sam had good reason to worry about money. Though the company was growing fast, he was heavily in debt. He owed over $2 million, for which he was personally responsible.
I used to worry about it. I was real worried. I don't know what he'll do. You know, what we'll do if he doesn't quit opening stores. We've got so much debt.
Sam's strategy for controlling debt was to expand. He figured he needed several $1 million. So on October 1st, 1970, Sam Walton did something he felt was a last resort. He put the company he had built with family money and labor up for public sale on the stock market. Wall Street yawned. Brokers thought the stocks were overpriced. Most of the early shares were purchased by people who worked for Wal-Mart. And in just a few years, those early stockholders would feel as if they had won the lottery. But for now, Wal-Mart didn't look like a threat to its rival, Kmart, which was 10 times as big as Wal-Mart. Sam saw himself as the dark horse. He wanted to become the largest retailer in the country. And while Kmart and Sears were perhaps not watching Sam closely enough, he was watching them very closely indeed.
Kmart, Sears, and Woolworth didn't see Sam coming until it was way, way, way too late. He was the stealth retailer. I've been into stores of competitors with him where he would take off his baseball cap and put on sunglasses and just wander into the store so nobody would know who he was, and he would see, you know, a price on something that was lower than his price at his store down the street, and he would get on the phone and call down to that store and tell them to lower the price right then.
To attract the right people to his company, Sam offered generous salaries and benefits, and adding Wal-Mart stock to the package made the deal even sweeter. But many Wal-Mart sales clerks were part-time and earned little more than minimum wage. It was Sam's wife, Helen, who suggested he make the profit available to all Wal-Mart employees.
I said, Sam, if you're going to pay that kind of money to new executive offices, how do you spread that benefit out among the people? Don't they deserve a raise too? Because they're the ones who make it possible. And Sam said, well, now that's not quite true. It takes good leadership to lead people in a situation like this. And I said, oh, I don't care. I think you're wrong.
Sam finally listened to his wife, and in 1972, Wal-Mart opened its profit-sharing plan to all employees. Given the enormous profits to come, those employees could hardly believe their good fortune.
And when I retired in 1992, I got a check in the mail for $738,000.
Well, hi, Nancy. Sam Walton. Nice to see you. Hi, Janice. Hi. How are you? Done so good, Morgan. It's been a long time since I've been over here. Hi, everybody.
Sir has.
And if profit-sharing weren't enough to make Sam's employees love him, he tried to win them over with his down-home image.
I hope you have a good career with us. Thank you.
And he began to use all manner of goofy gags like pep rallies to motivate them.
All of you raise your right hand, will you? If a customer comes within 10 feet of me,
If a customer comes within 10 feet of me,
I'm going to look him in the eye.
I'm going to look in the eye
And greet him.
and greet him.
So help me Sam.
The very hokiness of it was one of the things that allowed Walton to come in under everybody's radar. I think a lot of people who were sophisticated, who were located in big cities, couldn't believe that some clown in some town nobody ever heard of doing some cheer that sounded ridiculous could be taken seriously.
What's that smell? I can't hear you!
He was so damn demanding, but he was also so damned inspiring that if you're really inspiring and you're really demanding, something's got to happen, and it just kept happening.
Sam developed an almost cult-like following among his so-called associates, never more evident than in the Bentonville Sam and Helen Appreciation Day Parade. And for his part, Mr. Sam, as he was called, always returned the affection.
To have our friends here in our hometown give us these expressions is it's just much more than I would ever have hoped in this lifetime.
But Sam Walton's superstores have been linked to the demise of thousands of smaller merchants across the country and have made him and his style of retailing controversial. By 1978, Walton had 195 stores in a 10-state area and would soon be opening stores at the rate of about 100 a year. When Wal-Mart came to town, it wasn't long before many smaller shops closed their doors for good. Protesters began to rail against what they called Sprawl Mart, lamenting that the birth of Wal-Mart signaled the death of downtown.
When I opened my store in West Little Rock in 1950, there were 23 independent variety stores, and I closed my store 33 years later in 1983, and there was only one other independent variety store left at that time.
Now there was no turning back. Wal-Mart had changed the expectations of consumers. In 1983, Wal-Mart had sales of nearly $4 billion, and Sam Walton's personal fortune was by then more than $2 billion. Sam was 64 in 1982 when he was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. The traditional therapy was surgery, but Sam adamantly refused. Apart from the disease, his physical condition was excellent. So they decided he was a candidate for an expensive new experimental drug, interferon. It was a success.
He got in complete remission, and that was fabulous because he was a guinea pig taking the interferon. And that's what really was one of the miracles.
Sam Walton's immense wealth naturally brought him powerful connections. In 1982, Democratic candidate Bill Clinton was elected to a second term as governor of Arkansas. Walton and Clinton had a long, fond association, despite the fact that Sam, when he allied himself with a party at all, voted Republican.
He said something funny one time to me. He said, I think we're going to influence each other. And I believe that was the case. He was very supportive of work that my husband and I did on behalf of education in Arkansas.
In 1986, Hillary Clinton was elected as the first woman to serve on Wal-Mart's board of directors. She and Sam Walton were a political odd couple, but the two found a working partnership.
He was very open to my thoughts about the role of women and minorities in Wal-Mart and the need to try to do more to bring people of talent who could work hard and make a contribution to the attention of the managers in the company.
I know it. They'll just have to look at results.
Sam Walton was not known for his politics. He claimed that he did not like to use his influence, and he was notorious for keeping political contributions to a minimum. Nonetheless, he was a man accustomed to getting his way.
And I believe it'll happen. I hope so.
I would say he was like all great businessmen, empire builders. He cared very much about politics if it impinged upon his fortune. Sam Walton was very much the shrewd politician who knew where the levers of power were, how to pull them, what influence to wield, when to threaten, when to cajole, when to reward, as he did in the case of the Clintons and other politicians.
In 1984, Governor Clinton called on Sam Walton to help rescue a failing shirt manufacturing plant in the town of Brinkley, Arkansas. Brinkley was one of hundreds of plants which, unable to compete with the tide of cheap goods from overseas, was in danger of closing. Wal-Mart was one of many American retailers which sought to maximize profit by buying merchandise manufactured in countries that have abundant cheap labor. With a great deal of fanfare, Sam responded to Governor Clinton's request by placing a $600,000 order for shirts. But Sam Walton had another reason for his Buy America campaign.
One, he was a patriot and thought Americans should have jobs. And two, if people had jobs in these little towns, they're going to buy products at his Wal-Mart again.
The Buy American program was kind of a smokescreen for the Wal-Mart machine to roll as it did, because price was the bottom line. And if the guy in Taiwan can make it cheaper than the guy in Fort Smith, Arkansas, he'll go with the guy in Taiwan time and time again.
We were accused of kind of using this as a advertising ploy and all the rest of it. It was not it at all. It was driven by a principle.
And Sam's principles made Wal-Mart the target of protest again in the early 80s when unions attempted to organize its high-tech distribution plant in Searcy, Arkansas. Union organizers said Wal-Mart paid low wages, ignored unsafe working conditions, and failed to compensate for injuries on the job. Sam felt strongly. No Wal-Mart had ever been unionized, and he didn't want one to start now.
Sam appeared himself, and he told them that if the union got in, that he would take away the profit-sharing program. He told them that he had like 500 applications for employees to take their place in the plant.
Well, I better run on.
Once again, Sam got his way. The union was voted down. Indeed, it was a combination of Sam Walton's shrewd management and his relentless competitiveness that turned Wal-Mart into a retail empire. By 1985, this business savvy made Sam Walton the richest man in the country and a topic of media fascination.
Welcome to Bentonville, a tiny town in the northwestern corner of Arkansas. It seems 1,000,000 miles away from the moguls of Wall Street, but America's richest man calls it home. Meet Sam Walton.
But when the camera crews arrived in Bentonville, they often found Sam in his old pickup truck, and most times his hound dogs were not too far behind.
One of the things about Walton that made him special was this aw-shucks persona. He seemed to be an unsophisticated man. This is the greatest merchant of the second half of the 20th century in the United States.
Store looks awful good just standing at the front door. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. I understand you had a pretty good increase last...
Sam's seemingly casual view of money was never more evident than on Black Monday. On that day in 1987, the stock market suddenly plummeted. As New York's bridges were being watched for suicides, Sam Walton, in a matter of hours, lost $1.5 billion. Walton stunned the financial world by shrugging and saying, "It's paper anyway." But then Sam Walton really had no cause for worry. Even with such a monumental loss, he was still by far the richest man in America. You're watching Sam Walton on Biography's Attention Shoppers Week. Biography. Sam Walton had long promised his family he would take a back seat in the business, but relaxing full-time was a foreign concept to him. Finally, in 1988, when Sam was 70 and his retail operation was pulling in almost $16 billion a year, he phased himself out of the day-to-day operation. He and Helen took time to travel together, and on a trip to Central America, they decided to do something with their money to counteract what they saw as the long reach of communism. The Waltons set up the Latin American Scholarship Fund to send 180 students a year to one of 3 Christian universities in Arkansas.
We think they need to learn about the government of the United States, because where everybody gets to vote, people aren't afraid to vote.
In 1990, Sam began to experience aches in his bones. His doctors diagnosed him with bone cancer, a much more aggressive disease than the leukemia he had successfully overcome years before. Sam was hopeful as he began an enervating round of chemotherapy and radiation, and in spite of the pain and exhaustion he suffered, he tried to get on with as much of his routine as he could.
You had chairs since January.
I see you on TV, but never seen you in person.
One bright spot during Sam's illness was that he finally met the goal that seemed so unlikely when he set it for himself years before. Wal-Mart soared past Kmart and Sears, and in 1991, while Sam was struggling for his life, became the nation's largest retailer. In 1992, President Bush flew to Wal-Mart's home offices in Bentonville to confer presidential recognition on Sam Walton for his achievements, the Medal of Freedom.
I salute you, sir, for your vision, and I am proud to give you your nation's highest civilian honor.
Sam was determined he was going to get there somehow. Of course, we had to take him in a wheelchair, and his clothes, to get something that looked halfway decent on him was terrible because he'd lost so much weight. At that point, any disease, any germ that got to him would just be the end. He just barely got up there. I helped him a little bit. But he was determined. But I think Sam realized, even at that time, that the end was not far.
A few days later, Sam checked into the University of Arkansas Hospital in Little Rock. On April 5th, 1992, he died, 6 days after his 74th birthday.
He never left Bentonville. He proved that old-fashioned values and devotion to your roots were not inconsistent with extraordinary success by international standards.
The fortune Sam amassed, second only to the Sultan of Brunei at the time of his death, was dispersed evenly among his 4 children and his wife, Helen. Although the Walton family has endowed a grant-making foundation, it remains to be seen if their philanthropy will become commensurate with their enormous wealth. The Waltons like to support smaller organizations close to home, such as education and healthcare charities in the poverty-steeped Mississippi Delta. The Walton family believes that Wal-Mart itself and its prominent example of good old American enterprise is the best way it can help Americans. Sam Walton's unparalleled success in the retail industry defied the wisdom of the experts. He was too late, they said. His ideas were not original enough. But whether by luck or by design, Sam Walton, more than perhaps anyone, came to embody the American dream. He worked hard, he believed in himself, he ruthlessly undercut his competitors, and he was in the right place at the right time.
Probably the stupidest question that people asked me about him was he a genius or was he lucky? Well, you know, the answer, of course, is both, because nobody lucks into building the biggest retailer in the world and amassing a fortune of $25 billion. While he may not have set out to be the richest man in America, I think it pleased him very much.
So hallelujah, glory be. I hope you're as happy to be here this morning as I am. Thank you very much. Let's go to work. Double time. Yeah!
Since Sam Walton's death, Wal-Mart has found it difficult to maintain a low profile, partly because in 1996 the company surpassed General Motors, becoming the nation's largest employer. Sam Walton's little company has found itself steeped in controversy time and again. Most recently, movie and music companies have had to bow to Wal-Mart's insistence that it will sell only certain versions of some CDs and movies, with parts the company finds offensive censored. There's one CD that won't be found at all in Wal-Mart. Sheryl Crow in 1996 had an album which contained the lyrics, quote, "Watch our children as they kill each other with a gun they bought at the Wal-Mart discount store," unquote. Wal-Mart, of course, refused to sell that album. The retail giant stopped selling handguns in its stores back in 1994, though it still sells handguns in catalogs and hunting guns in stores. Tomorrow, the man who made a fortune with nickels and dimes. Unlike Sam Walton, Frank Woolworth spent freely and lived in splendor. F.W. Woolworth, when Attention Shoppers Week continues Wednesday. For A&E, I'm Jack Perkins. Thanks for watching.
Now you can own a video cassette of this program. Call 1-800-423-1212.